Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So I am back with a movie review, and it's another Marvel one because we just got the new Thunderbolts movie in the MCU. I literally saw the movie yesterday. I've put all my thoughts into a little script, and today I'm going to be giving my spoiler review of the film. So, spoiler warning, if you have not seen Thunderbolts yet, do not watch this review until after you have seen it, because I'm going to be giving away everything. So going into the Thunderbolts, I actually had pretty good expectations for this movie. Now, I reacted to trailers of it on my channel, and from the trailers, the movie did look like it was going to be very good. So the movie opened with Yelena breaking into a lab, and right off the bat, the thing that really stood out to me in this opening scene was the fight sequences. That shot from above, the bird's eye view of Yelena fighting those guys, was so good. So good. And the choreography really stood out to me, and I think that throughout that whole movie, the fight scenes and choreography continued to be a really strong point of the film. So Yelena's working for Val, all the other Thunderbolts are working for Val, and she actually tricks them and sends them to a place where they then try to kill each other, but then they find out that Val is actually trying to kill them, and they have to work together in order to survive. So the characters that we had in this movie, the Thunderbolts, first off is Taskmaster. I don't think any of us were shocked that she died so early on into the film. She was hardly in the trailers, hardly in any of the promotional material. We saw it coming, we knew it was going to happen, and it was very abrupt in the movie. She just got shot in the head, done, that's it. She's dead, moving on. Which I think actually was a shame for her character and what the character has been through. I definitely feel for the actress as well. And I was actually particularly sad that she died really early on, because I loved her fighting in that scene. When they were fighting against each other, she actually pulled some really cool moves, had some really good fighting sequences, and we were robbed of that throughout the rest of the movie. But also at the same time, did I really care that she died that early on? Did I miss her throughout the movie? No, not really. Then we have John Walker, and I was actually really excited to see more of John Walker. Firstly, he said "on your left," and it felt wrong. It felt so wrong. No, he needs to take that back. He is still very much an asshole, and as a person, I absolutely hate him. He's a horrible person. But as a character, I actually loved seeing him in this movie. He's really interesting to explore his character dynamics and his development. We also got to dive into some of his personal issues, the fact that his wife left him and took his kid, and he was dealing with the mental struggles that presented to him. I had no sympathy for him. His wife made the right decision, but it was still interesting seeing how that affected Walker, and so I thoroughly enjoyed him in this movie. I hate him, but I enjoyed seeing him in this movie, and I do actually look forward to seeing more of him. Then there's the Red Guardian. Now, admittedly, I honestly do not care about the Red Guardian that much at all. He could have not been in the movie, and I would have been perfectly fine with that, but I did find it really interesting seeing his relationship with Yelena and seeing how they approached that with each other. But he was definitely there to be the comedic character, and this movie did have a lot of comedy in it. I don't think this movie went too overboard on the humor, and it definitely wasn't necessary in the movie, the amount of humor that there was. It suited the characters, which I think is why it did work in this film, but at the same time, if they hadn't had such a comedic aspect to the movie, it could have made it so much darker, which would have worked with the other themes that this film were exploring, such as like mental health and stuff, which I think would have been really good and really interesting to explore. Like, it was still good as it was, but it would have also been really interesting had they gone down that darker route without the comedy. Then we have Ghost. Now, I won't lie, I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp once in the cinema, and I have never seen it since. All I remembered about Ghost was her like origin and her abilities. I didn't actually remember her personality wise at all, so I was pretty neutral about her character being in this movie. She wasn't one of the ones I was excited to see, but I was fine with her being there at the same time. But she actually ended up growing on me and becoming one of my favorite characters in the team. She was funny. I loved her personality. Maybe I'm biased because she has a British accent, so it really stood out to me. But I thought she was really interesting and really added to the team dynamic as well. I've seen some people claiming that she like hardly did anything in this movie, but like she's literally the reason that the Thunderbolts are alive and able to be a team. There were two opportunities where she could have escaped and saved herself and left the other Thunderbolts for dead, but instead she chose to come back and save them as well. Ghost really actually, she did a lot in this film, and the Thunderbolts owe her a lot, and I don't think they would have become the team that they are if it wasn't for Ghost. And then there's Yelena, and I absolutely love Yelena, and I was very excited to see more of her, and she was definitely kind of made the main character, the main protagonist of this movie. A lot of the focus was on her, and I was perfectly fine with that. It was really interesting getting to find out more about her backstory and stuff. And then there's Bob. So they managed to escape this facility. Bob sacrifices himself, gets shot, but no, plot twist, he has powers. Obviously, we knew that was coming. We knew he was going to be Sentry, but it was still such a cool reveal, the way that they did it. I just loved Bob so much, and the way that they wrote his character, the fact that he wasn't entirely aware of what he was capable of, the way that he had these doubts, also meant that when he then did become Sentry and also get taken over by the Void, he was absolutely terrifying. So then Bucky ends up joining the team as well. That action scene with the motorbike, the way that he used the wire and smashed it into the ground to flip over the car, honestly, probably my favorite action sequence in the movie, which also makes me kind of sad because they basically revealed that entire scene in the trailers. But he initially captures the Thunderbolts, but then he finds out about Bob and what Val's doing, and then he decides to join them and work together in order to stop Val and save Bob. Now, Val was the main antagonist of this movie, and I absolutely loved it. Firstly, she's a great character. She delivered some really hard-hitting lines, like the one that I won't quote because I cannot remember it exactly, but it was about righteousness and power and opinions. If you've seen the movie, you know which one I mean. But as a villain, as an antagonist, she was very, very similar to Zemo. She didn't fight anyone. She manipulated people and pulled the strings behind the scenes in order to get her way. She was the villain, and she actually technically won. By the end of the movie, she hadn't been impeached. She still had her power. So she got exactly what she wanted. It really shows how threatening a regular person can be. But the Thunderbolts, in their attempt to stop her, went to what used to be Avengers Tower, and it was cool getting to see what's happened to that building. The room they were in, I'm pretty certain, is the same room from the Avengers movie, you know, the one where like Loki threw Tony out of the window. I think it was that room. It definitely looks like that room. They fought in the lobby. Firstly, Bucky with the car door. He was using the car door as a shield. I lost my mind. It's exactly how Steve used the car door as a shield in Captain America, the First Avenger. I could have cried. The parallel. Oh my goodness. And actually throughout this movie there were a lot of references and parallel to previous MCU projects. There was also the moment where Yelena and Bob were strangled by the curtain, just like how Yelena and Nat strangled each other with the curtain in Black Widow. There were so many references and parallels, and it was so fun. And also heartbreaking because a lot of them were references to the OGs. May they rest in peace. Then there was the fight scene with Sentry, which was less of a fight scene, more of the Thunderbolts getting their asses kicked. Then he becomes the Void, and that's when things get really dark because the Void takes over all of New York, or part of New York, I don't know. Yelena is the first to get trapped in the Void and have to face her memories, and then the other Thunderbolts go in to then find her and Bob and help them get out. Now, I was really hopeful when Yelena first went into the Void that we were going to see the other Thunderbolts in the Void and see the memories that they had to face, but obviously in the end we did not get that, and that was a little bit disappointing. I want them to release an extended version of the movie that included all of the Thunderbolts facing their memories in the Void. Admittedly, the one that I would want to see the most is Bucky, but at the same time I know why they didn't include him, because he is the character we already know all about his past. We've already seen a lot of his previous memories, but at the same time, because of that, he is the character we are the most attached to. We know the most about his past, and therefore we want to see his past the most, and I would have killed to see what memories he had to face in the Void. It would have also been interesting to see some of the other characters who we didn't know as well, get to find out more about them through the memories that they had to face in the Void. So it was a missed opportunity. I get why they didn't do it, because it just would have made the movie so much longer. I would have happily sat there for an extra half an hour if it meant getting to see their backstories a little bit in the Void. But I loved how they showed things and portrayed everything when they were in the Void. The cinematography I think was really good and clever in this movie, and it really stood out to me along with the choreography. So then they save the day. Everything is okay. Val tricks them into becoming the new Avengers, and that's where the movie ends. Then skip to the end credit. It is now over a year later, and they are very much established as the team of the new Avengers. And there is a lot to unpack from this end credit scene. I'm gonna have to read directly from my notes. There's too much, you guys. So firstly, they actually used the Avengers theme in the soundtrack, and they also then made like a Thunderbolts version of the Avengers theme that sounded like the Avengers theme but wasn't actually the Avengers theme. It was clever. I always love soundtracks. This one, very good. I'm curious about the future of Sentry and Bob and what he's going to do. He's not Sentry anymore because presumably if he uses his Sentry powers, then the Void risks coming back. But then that just essentially makes him useless. And I know the whole movie was him trying to prove that he wasn't useless, but like, he is kind of useless now. But there's a lot that they can explore with his character now, and I'm very excited to see what they do with it. I wasn't expecting them to be an official Avengers team, but it turns out that they're not the official Avengers team because Sam is also making his own Avengers team. I'm curious who is going to end up on Sam's team. Shang-Chi, Ant-Man, Thor. Who else had a chair? Shuri. Yes. Oh my god. I need Shuri and Sam on a team together. Yes. Sign me up for that. So they give us Bucky being there for Sam and saying that he loves him during Captain America Brave New World. And now you mean to tell us that like Bucky had a conversation with Sam and it didn't go well and they're apparently fighting and arguing with each other? We've missed a few chapters. What have the new Avengers done during those 14 months that have made Sam so against them for some reason? Other than the fact that they are bad people. Because that's the thing, the Thunderbolts aren't good people, yet they're now in a very public-facing team of superheroes. Has the general public just forgotten about what John Walker did in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? So I get why Sam isn't happy. We don't actually see the public reaction to them as the new Avengers, so for all we know, even after 14 months, they might not actually have, like, fans. People might not even like them that much. Who knows? And I really don't know how to feel about Bucky on the team in particular. Would he really let Val get away with everything? Because that's what they did by joining the new Avengers, is they've let her keep her power and her position. And would Bucky really do that? Would he really want the publicity? Would he really be okay working in a team with John Walker? It's hard to judge just from the end credit scene. I wish we were getting another movie before Avengers Doomsday, like Thunderbolts 2, or just a new Avengers movie where we would get to see the Thunderbolts as a team even more, because I just feel like I need to see more of it to understand it. I know it's the point of the team is that they're not good people, but labeling them as Avengers. And also, why did Bucky become a congressman? Because that was the issue that I know a lot of us had, myself included, in Captain America Brave New World, was that Bucky becoming a congressman didn't really feel like his character. But I feel like even in this movie, they didn't actually explain his reasoning behind it. I don't know. So Sam is apparently suing the new Avengers over the name of the Avengers. I know I said that the Thunderbolts, I feel like they don't suit the name of the Avengers, but why are we copywriting superhero team names? Like, right, hear me out, okay? I don't know if this is an unpopular take, but this is my take. Superheroes with branding and like team names and stuff, they are fun to watch in a movie, but if I was a civilian in that universe, I would hate them. And that includes the original Avengers. Superheroes who act and are treated as celebrities, superheroes who do interviews and press conferences, who do photo shoots, who endorse brands, who are on cereal boxes. It makes it feel so performative. And I know they are still going out there and risking their lives and fighting, but the whole celebrityism of it, the publicity stunting, I feel like it takes away from the heroics. This is why in My Hero Academia, Stain was 100% right. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion. Sue me, that's how I feel about it. So the big reveal in the end credit scene was a ship entered the atmosphere, and it is the Fantastic Four. By including that in the end credit scene, did they just spoil the upcoming Fantastic Four movie for us? Does this mean that Galactus is actually going to win and destroy the Fantastic Four's Earth, and therefore they flee to the MCU universe? I'm definitely curious to see what happens and how the Fantastic Four end up coming to the MCU universe. Is it even the Fantastic Four in that ship? It is their ship, but are they actually the ones in it? Who knows? Maybe Doom is in that ship. Now, of course, the second we saw the ship in the end credit scene, I think we all knew it was going to be the Fantastic Four, but part of me did really hope for it to be the X-Men. This was literally me when I reacted to one of the Thunderbolt trailers. I see that, and my brain just thinks of Magneto. I know it's not Magneto, but that's what my brain thinks of. When can we get Magneto in the MCU? Please, I want Eric. And since then, it has now been announced that Ian McKellen is returning to play Eric in the MCU. Yes, I cried when his chair was revealed. So I am always hoping for X-Men content, and I am so unbelievably excited for the X-Men in the MCU. So I was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't the X-Men on the ship, but still very exciting that it is the Fantastic Four. And then that is the end of the movie. So Thunderbolts had a lot of action and fighting, and it was really cool. But at the end of the day, the main focus of this movie was actually mental health, and I loved that. I think it really hit because it made these characters so much more relatable to us viewers. Sure, we don't live lives like the Thunderbolts. We aren't secret spies doing shadow ops for a shady political figure, but we do go through the same mental struggles that they showed the Thunderbolts to be going through. I think it made it more personal, more relatable, and it made it feel more down to earth. And for that, I think it was really well done. So I'm really happy that the Thunderbolts went down that route. And then on top of that, I loved all the characters. I loved seeing the characters together as a team. I thought it was a really strong movie. I absolutely loved it. I had a brilliant time. I would happily go and see it again. And it makes me really excited to see what the future of the MCU holds with these characters. Now, normally I actually rate Marvel movies based on how much I can get my Marvel OC into the movie. This one is like a solid 8 out of 10, I think. I can get her in there pretty well, actually. It would be a lot of fun. And that, I think, is everything that I have to say about the Thunderbolts. What did you think of the Thunderbolts? Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you go and check out some of my previous reviews. One of my recent ones was my review of Daredevil Born Again. I absolutely loved that show and I had a lot to say about it, so go check out that review. And I also reviewed Captain America Brave New World if you want to see that. And I will definitely try and do a review of Fantastic Four when that movie comes out. I am so excited. In the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video. Goodbye!